following program is intended for mature audiences.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg,
Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
I avoided fantasy suicide yesterday. I was desperately in need of running back help.
Yeah.
And so one of the few guys I could pick up was Kerwin Williams, the new starter for the Cardinals. And I was like, well, he's going to be the starter. Stanton sucks, so they're going to try to run the hell out of the ball. And I almost convinced myself at like the final second, I was like, oh, I might put him in there. And then by the time I decided, shoot, I'll just bite the bullet and do it, the game had already started, so I couldn't do it.
I did the same thing with that what's his name, Matavis Bryant for the Steelers.
Yeah.
It came down between him and Jones, and I almost started Bryant. And then he played during the day, and he had a good day, and I'm like, damn, I should have done it. And then Jones went off and had like 200 yards, and it worked out for me.
But I avoided the first touchdownless game since 2012.
God, that was just some abysmal football last night.
It really was.
Who played last night?
Cardinals, Rams.
Cardinals and Rams.
Oh, who won that?
Cardinals.
The Cards did.
12-6. They got 5 in the 7th inning off of
the 7th inning.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is
St. Louis's bullpen imploded.
Just to show how good Jim Nantz is at his job. This was a quote with 6 minutes left in the game. This is a terrible football game, and as a broadcaster, you're just trying to keep people somewhat engaged. This is his quote from like late in the game. You know, the way the game is played these days is such a rarity to see something like this game with no touchdowns, 6 field goals, 14 punts, and a whole lot of suspense here with 6 minutes to go.
Well,
it's just like
God bless them.
It's a shitty football game. I don't know why any of you are watching this, but it's fun, right?
You know what though? The Cardinals. See, it's weird. I'm looking at St. Louis, and my mind immediately goes to St. Louis Cardinals. But the Cardinals, the Arizona variety, needed that win, something awful last night.
I find it funny, and I kind of this as someone like the Cardinals are like my second team here. I find it funny how everyone was like, oh, I see the Cardinals dropping off now. Like, it's Seattle for the taking. And, okay, yeah, the Cardinals haven't been impressive, but they've won 2 in a row now. So, and this isn't the NCAA.
They lost 2 in a row before that, and, God, Drew Stanton sucks.
Drew Stanton does suck, but you know what? They're still getting wins.
And now he's injured. And, he's week to week. So if he doesn't start, they're going to have to resort to Ryan Lindley.
No, but that's not a name.
Max Hall's got to be out there somewhere. Come on,
Arizona. Come on, do the right thing and get us Tim Tebow.
He's just the logical next step from Kurt Warner, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be in.
If you want a Jesus freak as your quarterback, sure, yeah.
I'm going to be in Arizona next weekend for Cards Seahawks.
Yeah, our
the
boys,
Ryan Lindley show up in person.
Our boy Zach's been having some real sports stuff going on here, Mike. He was on the won the seat upgrade and got on the jumbotron at the Ducks game.
I saw that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just kind of funny how it worked out because my grandpa and I were trying to get up to the stadium early and eat outside, but traffic was terrible for him because since I live up in Long Beach now, he can't carpool with me, so he has to drive like all the normal people. And traffic was particularly terrible the other day. Excuse me. And so we got there, and it's like, well, we don't have enough time to go out there. We bought the passes for this new special restaurant and bar area that the Ducks built, which is nice, but it's a little overpriced, and sometimes you can't get a seat. So we're like, we're just going to go inside and get a hamburger.
It seems like one of the things that people – it seems like the kind of place that the team builds, and it's like you kind of pay to be there rather than like pay to service. It's kind of neat. I mean, it's something that they had needed. So it's this little like outdoor patio and then an indoor bar area. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's expensive and probably really not worth all we're paying for it. I still say that we should be able to just a quick side note. I still think we should be able to go to a Panthers game, buy regular tickets, and then get into their VIP section and be like, come on, guys.
First 200 people get to sit in the luxury boxes.
Exactly.
And you know what? You'd never, ever have to worry about getting there on time. You'd always have a luxury box spot, no matter what. No matter what.
And so we're walking around the concourse, and we're just kind of hanging out. And the in-arena host with his camera guy walks up like, hey, you guys want to be the seat upgrade tonight? And I was like, oh, well, yeah, sure. You know, my grandpa really doesn't – he loves the seats we have, and they're great seats. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't really like sitting down low because it changes the angle. And it's like we were sitting behind the bench, so if it's in front of the bench, you lose the play. Mm-hmm. And the glass kind of distorts stuff sometimes. Yeah. I like sitting down low a couple times a year just to remind yourself how big and fast and strong all these guys actually are. Because when you're sitting so far away, they're just kind of little pieces on a chessboard. Yeah. And then when you sit up close, you can see like, well, there's the passing lanes and how quick they pass and how little room they have on the ice. But so the guy asked me, and I said, yeah, sure. And he's like, well, one of you has to be on camera. And my grandpa's like, well, you have to be on camera. I was like, okay. And I was like, so what are we going to do? He's like, well, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. They're true, false. And they're going to be about – and they had this cardboard cutout of a bull because they're also sponsoring the PBR, the Professional Bull Riders. They're coming into in February.
It wasn't a shout-out to the Mooterus?
No. So he was like, I'm going to ask you 3 true, false questions about this bull. And I was like, you're going to ask me questions about a bull? He's like, don't worry. I'm going to give you all the answers. We're giving this to you. We want you to win.
Okay, now you just ruined
me too. Yeah.
I know.
Every sporting event I've ever been to.
Every Jackets game I've ever gone to, I sit there with bated breath when they go, this is tonight's seat upgrade, and I'm looking at my ticket going, come on, section 210. Never happens. Now I know the whole thing's rigged.
And now you don't even get the suspense of watching the guy answer the questions.
Well, here's the thing too is I think when they have like if you get these right, then you get it. If you don't get them right, then this person gets it. I think those are real because they have like a choice. Like if you lose, the other person gets it. But I know sometimes they rig those and be like, hey, here's a guy and his girlfriend. Hey, girlfriend, you stand over here and we'll make your guy look stupid and you'll quote unquote win the tickets. And then you'll both get the tickets. But this one, it's like nobody's going to know questions about a damn bull. And so he's like, you have to get 2 out of 3. And all the answers are true. And I was like, all right, so
do you
want me to miss the second question to like build up to the suspense? And he's like, yeah, do that. I'm like, all right. And I played it up a little bit, and so I like looked back at the bull, and he's like, you're locking eyes with the bull. Like, are you trying to get some answers from him? I'm like, yeah, he looks pretty formidable, but I'm going to take the bull by the horns here, Kent. And I'm going to
Oh my god.
And so that's how that went. And then you get the tickets and you go downstairs. And then it's funny because normally they do those things live, but this one is pre-taped before the game. And so I actually got to see myself on the Jumbotron and take a picture. So
you should have videotaped it with your phone so we could have posted it on. I posted the pictures on the website.
I did. I posted a little video, but I wanted more pictures than video because you couldn't really hear anything. So I got the pictures of me putting my fingers up to my head like bullhorns, though.
Yeah, I really thought, well, maybe it is, maybe they do, but
I know some of them are real. Like some of them were like you can legitimately win or lose. They always want you to win.
Well, see now at the Jackets games though, when they do the ticket upgrade, it's just if you're sitting in the seat, come on down, you get to sit in better seats.
Right? Yeah. They used to do just that, where they'd say they do it in the middle of the first period, so it's like you get to spend the rest of the game down here, but they did it before the game so that you get the whole game experience.
They should have given you a cowboy. They should have given you a cowboy hat.
They should have. But I not only did I get the seat upgrade, I got 4 tickets to the bull riding.
Hey,
and it's actually a couple days before my birthday.
Are you gonna go?
Oh yeah. Free, and they're good tickets too. They're like lower level tickets for this bull riding.
I don't know how I feel about the bull riding thing because I'm such an animal advocate that I don't care for it. But then again, it's not like they're not out there like beating them with sticks or anything either. So
the Cowboys are more in danger than the bull.
Yeah, well, certainly.
The thing that I found interesting about modern bull riding, you just see it on TV every now and then. I see like the Cowboys now are wearing like hockey helmets.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Do you think any of like the old time Cowboys are in the back with like their cowboy hats on, like pansies?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just like hockey.
Back in my day, we'd get our kid kicked in by a bull, and it was nothing. It was a Tuesday.
Have you ever seen though, like when sometimes those guys they get thrown off the bull, and before the clowns can get there to distract the bull, they get oh my god.
Yeah. You were talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets game experience, Mike or Greg?
Yeah, I've got another story about that, but go ahead.
Well, I have a tease for the Tabs.
Oh, okay, good.
Columbus Blue Jackets in-game related tease coming up in Zach's Tabs.
Hey, a Tabs tease. Look at us.
Stick around to the end of the show, folks.
Absolutely.
You're going to want to hear this.
As if you didn't have enough reasons to hang around till the very end of the latest episode of Basically a Sports Show. Now you have
why
one
wouldn't
more.
you listen to us all the way through? I would, hope you could.
People must, because they always ask me what the song is that I play at the end of the show. So,
well, speaking of seats, though, I just wanted to bring this up that the Montreal Canadiens are just fucking bravo, Montreal. They have announced that they will no longer announce a sellout for the rest of the season because they're keeping Jean Beliveau's seat empty.
They're
cool
good because they sell out every game, so every single attendance is going to be one short of full capacity.
That is a really cool move.
And did you see what they did to the seat?
Yep.
They reupholstered it. Instead of it just being, a normal seat back, they took a John Beliveau jersey with the number 4 and the red and the blue stripe, and reupholstered that into the back of the seat. So
that's really cool.
His widow is at the game tonight too against the Kings.
I was watching.
Like the Habs are playing some inspired hockey. 3-0.
I was watching. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people always. Always the success of the Canadiens in the old Forum was that it was filled with all the ghosts of all the great hockey players who helped the Canadiens win, but that they haven't had as much success since moving out of the Forum because all the ghosts are still at the Forum, which is kind of interesting because it's a movie theater now. But so I guess they're all just watching the new Hunger Games movie, I suppose. But I don't know.
They're really wasting their time if they're doing that.
I did get around to seeing that since last week, and yeah, that's just an extended cock tease for the next one.
That's exactly what it is.
But the actual, but I don't know. Maybe we just need more Canadiens greats to die.
I don't know
the new one.
I don't know
now the new building.
I don't know a thing about him as a player because my hockey history is not very sharp, but
he is like if Gordie Howe wasn't Mr. Hockey, this guy would have been.
That's what I was going to say, but just from everything I can gather,
Gordie Howe.
Oh no,
Zach.
No, I'm just going to keep saying no until he comes back.
Are you getting the dots on your end?
No,
I'm not either. So
I'm wondering if he unplugged himself by accident. Oh, there are the dots.
It's California, man. It's just like
it's a rolling internet brownout.
I was going to say those rolling blackouts from like 10 years ago. Are they back or something?
Oh, come on. Let's not do this again tonight.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Unruffled by that minor setback, we try phase 2.
Oh, what are we talking about? Oh, the ghosts of the old.
No. Talking about Jean Beliveau being Mr. Hockey.
Right. Yeah.
He like I said, he's the Gordie Howe of French Canada, essentially.
Great.
17. His name's on the Stanley Cup 17 times.
That's right.
Yeah, 10 as a player, another 7 as an executive.
Wow.
And I mean, he's one of the. He's much in the way that I talk about Teemu Selanne,
right?
Where he stays after every game and will sign every autograph and just is always available. The thing, like one way to show how much of an icon he is in that way, Jean Beliveau kept his name publicly listed in the Montreal phone book.
Wow.
And would answer the phone anytime anyone called and would have long conversations with everybody.
That's cool.
And it got to a point where his wife started answering the phone so that she could like screen the calls for him. because if she didn't, he would just sit there and answer them and talk to everybody because he was, it wasn't ever an act. It wasn't him like, well, I have to do this for the fans. It's like, no, it's just
the way it was, basically. Just basically his personality. Yeah, that's really cool.
A good guy.
But I like that Montreal did that. That's a really neat thing.
I mean, he was also once nominated to be the Governor General of Canada.
Yes.
Which, if you don't know, is basically the representative to the Queen.
Yes.
for Canada, and just to know how important that position is. One of the other Governor Generals of Canada might have just been Lord Stanley of Preston, i.e. Stanley Cup.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a big deal to be Governor General. Even it's actually a pretty sweet gig because it's a big deal, but you don't have to do much. But Well, except, waste all the money they give you on shopping trips to New York if you're Adrian Clarkson. But that's besides the point.
Mike with a nice Canadian reference that no one will get except Canadian people. Nice.
Yeah,
Good
our
job.
Canadian listeners up in arms. Yeah.
Screw her.
Clarkson.
The American
What
listeners
a
are-
jerk. Spending all of our taxpayer dollars.
Everyone else is like, who? What?
Yeah, they're like, what the hell are you talking about?
What's a governor general? No. But
yeah, they're still stuck at that, actually, so we don't have to worry about the other reference. They're still back at that one with me.
But John Beliveau, I personally kind of wish that would have happened because you can't get more Canadian than having the technical head of state be a hockey player.
Yeah.
And
he denied the position because he wanted to stay closer to his family and the Montreal Canadiens and stuff like that. So
that's really cool.
Just to show how loyal and how good he was. The story of how he became a Montreal Canadian is fascinating as hell.
It is
because he was playing for the Quebec Senior League in Quebec City, which was like the highest junior level at the time, and he was a fantastic player. Even you look at some of the highlights they've been playing, and he makes moves that guys today made against like the guys of the '60s, and so he was just deking out everybody all over the place. But he didn't want to leave. He was very loyal. The Montreal Canadiens said, "Hey, we want you to play for us," and he said, "No, I like what I'm doing here in Quebec City. I really want to keep playing for this team. I love the fans. I love the people. I love the team." Quebec City rewarded him with an outrageous contract. So the Montreal Canadiens were like, "No, we really need this guy on the team." So they went out and bought the entire Quebec Senior Hockey League, turned it professional, and made him a Montreal Canadian.
Are you telling me that this guy, okay, and the Canadiens, they were the Canadiens at this point, right, when they wanted him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He turned down a chance to go play for essentially the greatest franchise in all of hockey to stay in Quebec City.
Just prior to Beliveau showing up, this was around the time that Maurice Richard was doing his thing, so the Canadiens were a big deal.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So the Canadiens bought an entire hockey league just to get him on the team.
To force him to play.
Right.
There's also a rumor I heard that when they finally agreed to get him to come in, that they opened up the team's safe in the forum and just said, "Take whatever you want. That'll be your signing bonus."
Nice. But you know what? From the sounds of things, he probably just said, "Just pay me whatever." I don't know. What a guy!
Pretty much. I think that's how the story went too. It was like, pay me what you think I'm worth.
Wow.
And he wouldn't ask for any more than what they thought he was worth.
We could use a few John Beliveaus today. Really.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. That was
Evander Kane. Is Evander Kane the Jean Beliveau of our age?
The anti-Jean Beliveau.
He's the anti-Jean Beliveau.
Something that I think Keith Olbermann brought up because he put up a couple things because he's good with history. But it's an interesting question to ask. I mean, because John Beliveau got a state funeral by the government of Canada on Wednesday.
Wow.
And it's like I can't think of any current player that even would come close to deserving that. Like, could you think of anyone playing sports anywhere today
right now
that would deserve that?
That's active right now, you mean?
Right.
No.
The only one that would even be
Derek
close
Jeter.
is Derek Jeter, and there's no way in hell he would get that.
There would be so much blowback if they tried that. Yeah. He's loved by the people that love him, but he's not universally loved. You know what I mean? No, I can't imagine.
I was thinking, like, Teemu Selanne might get one in Finland, but not here, obviously. But
I would think probably Gretzky in Canada, probably, right? But he's not. I mean, he hasn't been. I mean, I'm not saying he's been a bad ambassador for the game since he retired, but he
doesn't have the same cultural impact that Beliveau does.
Right? Yeah.
No.
I can't think of anyone.
I'd say Gretzky gets one. Honestly,
you think so?
I think so. Yeah, he is much below. I mean, I'd say the cultural impact isn't quite up to what Beliveau did, but just in terms of public sentiment,
an impact on the game and all that stuff. Yeah.
Didn't Mickey Mantle get a pretty big funeral?
I don't. If
I remember.
I don't.
I think
remember.
I've seen video of like a big
A
funeral.
lot of people showed up, but not like a state funeral or like he lied in state in the Capitol Rotunda or anything like that. No.
Yeah.
But he did get a pretty big funeral. But he was a hero to so many people.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky for Governor General.
There you go.
Let's make God happy. That would just be that would just
Paulina Gretzky for Governor General.
Do you think that hurts his reputation any today, Wayne Gretzky?
No, I think it's
don't think
funny.
it does.
It's just funny. It's
I don't think What can
if
he
you're
do?
the daughter of one of the greatest athletes of all time, what are you supposed to do? you don't have to do anything with your life, like at all.
And if you try to be an athlete, you're just going to end up disappointing everyone.
Right.
Right. Like he has 2 kids, and one's a decent baseball player, the other one's like a failed football player.
I mean, nobody wants to be Brad Gretzky again.
The good one?
Brent Gretzky.
Brent Gretzky.
He was the one that, like, Wayne was the great one, and they called him the good one or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, combined, they're the highest sibling.
That's right.
Most successful siblings in all of sports.
Does he have like 5 or something?
Just like Hank and Tommy Aaron, yeah. Combined. Tommy Aaron can walk in there to your room and go, look, I'm half of the most prolific home run hitting brothers of all time, yeah.
Exactly.
I've got 8, my brother's got 755. There you go.
But watching that ceremony that the Habs did, goddamn, it's one of those things where like I'm watching it, and after it was done, I just like my reaction was, God damn it, Montreal, I'm supposed to hate you.
Yeah, I think our friend the Admiral summed it up best. Montreal, you hockey better than anyone else will ever hockey.
Yeah.
And he brought up another good point. When they had a moment of silence, it was a legit moment of silence.
It was dead quiet. You know, when we have these moments of silence, somebody is always going to go, yeah, go Habs, or, whatever.
There always sounds like some drunk asshole who, yells something out.
Or at least there's a low...
for a full minute, silent, like dead quiet.
I'm trying to think if I've ever had a moment of silence at been at one where it was actually that silent. I don't, because there's always like a low murmur even when they do it. There's still... You can still tell people, and that irks the hell out of me, that people that don't respect that. I don't care if you don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Just shut up for a minute. And people don't. They're just assholes. It's just the way it goes.
It might also be different because we're America.
Well, we used to have manners at one time. I swear we did.
America's just you guys are just a loud country.
Yeah. Speaking of, we were talking about Columbus Blue Jackets in-game experience. Things have gotten so bad with them this year. They called us the other day like, so you guys want to come to any games this year?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, but every team does that. If you buy the tickets through their website, they will call you or email you at some point.
Dude, I'm telling you, we've been buying tickets to their games for the last 8 years. That's the first time they ever called us.
Really?
The very first time, yep.
I've had the Phoenix Suns call me up a few times. I bought one pair of $2 tickets to a Suns-Blazers game 5 years ago, and they called me up last year like, hey, thinking of coming to any Suns games this year? And I'm like, well, first off, I don't live there anymore, so no. And second, even if I did, no.
Yeah. I was just kind of depressed by that because, we've gotten the emails, but they've never physically called us. And just, they called my girlfriend and said, hi, this is so-and-so from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Are you guys thinking about coming to any games this year? I thought, that just sounds like, hey, if you want to come by, we've got some seats for you. It just seemed kind of sad to me.
I truly feel for him because the bad luck that the Blue Jackets have gone through this year, it's just been like half the team got replaced by AHLers due to injury.
But you know what? I like what Zach talked about last week. Suck this year, get some really great draft picks, and guess what? I like that idea. I'm on board with that at this point.
Did you see somebody this week made or this week or last week made honest NHL slogans for every single team?
I saw that.
Do you see the Blue Jackets one?
No.
Yes.
The only BJs you'll be disappointed with.
I like Toronto's screw cups were rich.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
Because it's true. That one's true.
It's like everyone's like, oh, Leafs haven't won anything since '67, but then like the Wall Street Journal, the Maple Leafs are worth over $1 billion. It's like, ha.
I was watching your Leafs last night. I think it was last night, playing the Red Wings for a little while, or was it Wednesday?
It was Wednesday, I think.
Wednesday,
Wednesday night rivalry night.
It was a legitimate rivalry, too. But God damn it, NHL. This is, like, I love that story that was posted. The Leafs beat the Red Wings in a shootout. And then it was like, Wings lose in shootout, take first place in division.
That's hockey.
Like, oh, God damn it. The point system's so fucked up.
A little bit.
I mean, to go along with more stupid NHL stupid things, we have the hosts have been announced for the outdoor games next year.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, this was a bit depressing.
Well, Winnipeg is going to get the Heritage Classic, but we already knew that from a year ago.
I'm excited about that, honestly, because...
Where are they going to play that? At the Blue Bombers Stadium?
Yeah, the Blue Bombers got a brand new stadium, so that's why they got this game, because they've got a brand new outdoor stadium to play.
You're not going to have to worry about ice in Winnipeg.
No, you won't have to make fake ice or anything there.
No. Palm trees in Winnipeg.
They should do that. They should try to make it look like the Ducks-Kings game.
Grassy and sunny, yeah.
I loved that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, well, I mean, to do anything else would have just been to be faking it. And they're just like, you know what? We're not going to fake it. This is what California is.
Yeah.
By the way, here's Kiss.
Yeah, that. There will be 2 Stadium Series games. Colorado, which was always a given, and they're probably going to play that at Coors Field because Coors Light NHL Stadium Series. And then this one disappointed me. Now, I'm happy that the Wild will host a Stadium Series game.
Yep.
But Minnesota, of all places, should be hosting a Winter Classic.
And
it shouldn't have to be doing what we're doing, which is we're now repeating host cities.
Which is
Boston is getting a second shot at the Winter Classic.
That's what really pissed me off about this, because I've been saying for years that the best way to freshen up the Winter Classic rotation would be to have Minnesota and Colorado host games, because they're outside of the NBC 7, but they're in cold weather climates, so you know that you'd get that same effect. But instead of just tossing them these like same series games, and they're going back to Boston.
I understand the want to have like your marquee teams and your marquee event, but to not have to give the state of hockey. A place that treats high school hockey like Texas does high school football with the ancillary game is just it's disappointing, because I think and plus we were just in the Eastern Conference last year. Why aren't you supposed to flip flop, like at least even it out? So I know they can't go to Chicago all the time now, but I think St. Louis is a marquee team in the league.
Could you get snow though in the winter for St. Louis? That seems like an iffy prop. Like it kind of I've never been to Missouri, so I don't know for sure. But
it's cold.
I don't know that you would necessarily get the snow that you would want, but it certainly would be cold enough. Maybe not super duper cold like it would be in Minnesota, but it would certainly be in the 30s or 40s. It would be more than hospitable for a hockey game. Definitely.
I just think this just reinforces the fact that the NHL, really only cares about 6 teams that makes them money, or the NBC 7 as they're known. And I just think it's dumb that we're going to repeat in Boston. And I hope the hell if they go back to Fenway too, that'll really kind of screw the whole thing for me. Like I can understand that they're going to start repeating host cities because that's all they care about is the NBC 7. But if they start repeating stadiums, then we might have to just back off the whole thing, because at that point, like when you did it in Fenway Park the first time, it's like, oh, Fenway Park, and this is amazing. But if you go back, it's like, okay, yeah, we saw that. I mean, you saw it with the 2 games in New York. It's like 2 games in the same stadium.
But where do you play it though? Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say in the second, when they did the 2 in New York, I actually forgot the second game was happening.
So did I.
Until it was over.
I was flipping through the channels and like, oh yeah, that's right.
It was on a Wednesday and all that, but
it was on a Wednesday and nobody cared. But
I cared.
The Rangers were the road team in New York, but I just love I hate the fact that this whole NBC 7 thing, which is totally bemusing to me, because hockey coverage up here is very different. So I see the way that NBC does it, I'm like, it could be so much better, but you don't do it right, and then it's
the NBC. Well, we might have to make it the NBC 8. Because I've seen way too damn much of the Buffalo Sabres this year.
Yeah, why are the Buffalo Sabres? Because this is a terrible team. Because
they get great local ratings. When the game's on in Buffalo, it gets like a 10.
Yeah, but
there's nothing else to do at Buffalo. So all they do is watch their hockey team.
But when you add that, they get a great local rating, but in the overall nationals, that stuff's all weighted, so it's a small market. So they're getting a huge number, but it's still not bumping the national number that much.
Right, I know.
I don't know. What was I going to say? Oh, with Boston, okay, if you don't play it in Fenway, where do you go? Do you go to Boston College's stadium? Do you go to Foxborough? What do you do?
Yeah, Boston College's stadium, I looked it up, is 50,000.
Which is a bit small, maybe what they usually like.
I think they can do it.
It's a little more than Fenway.
And then I would assume the other place they could do it is Foxborough.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. But that's
either that or Harvard, and Harvard has like 30,000.
Would Foxborough even... No, it would be, because it would be the New Year, okay.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing too, is that it's New Year's, so it depends on when the NFL schedule lies, because they may not be able to do it because of
Playoffs.
because of the playoffs. Yeah, and you can always guarantee the Patriots are probably going to be the playoffs.
Are we talking next season in 2000? What would it be? 2000.
It would be 216.
So New Year's Day would be on a Saturday. So yeah, it very well could mess up. It could conflict with playoff games. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, unless the NFL would schedule it that they would have they'd be on the road that week and the week before. But,
The NFL going to help anybody out schedule-wise? Sure.
I know. Exactly. So it's either Boston College or back to Fenway, which, because I think it'd be cool if they did it at Harvard, but there's only 30,000 seats at Harvard.
Yeah, but Fenway, I don't know how they did the seating at Fenway, but it only holds about 34.
Right, but the difference is that it's Fenway.
Yeah.
It has the visual appeal.
I don't care. I don't care if it's Fenway, though. In my opinion, these outdoor games suffer when you put it in a baseball stadium because a hockey rink and a baseball diamond are not conducive to each other.
No, the football field, at least it's square and everything fits nicely, but a baseball field, especially like a place like Fenway, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, Fenway's even worse because of the shortened dimensions of left.
Right. We'd be happy to host a game here. We got the stadium for it and everything. I just don't think anyone would show up.
Oh,
you'd have to play the Penguins, and it'd be a Penguins home game.
Yeah, definitely. Oh God, that'd be 100,000 Penguins fans all gathered in the same spot. That'd be great.
I always thought it would be great if they would have done Blue Jackets versus Red Wings, so then you could play up Ohio versus Michigan in the Horseshoe.
That'd be cool. I don't know if people. I honestly don't know. I think they would for the novelty. I don't think you could repeat it within the next 10 years or so. But I think the first time they would go. Yeah.
Yeah, but it would be messed up because the Ohio team would be the one wearing blue, and the Michigan team would be wearing red.
Oh, we can't have that. We'd have to do something about that.
Right,
but
it'd be a little off.
Speaking of uniforms, another thing that bugs me about all of this is that the Stadium Series jerseys tend to be out there, and the Wild, I don't know. I just think the Wild are one of the teams that they tend to do faux backs really well. So I would have liked to see them get into the Winter Classic and then do something like that.
Speaking of the Stadium Series jerseys, Mike, they've been leaked.
Let's see.
Give me a second while I pull it up.
I'll bet you I end up liking them. I always end up liking stuff that you guys hate.
These are awful. I hate them.
I'm going to love them. I can tell already.
It's a cool shoulder. I will give them the shoulder patch. Mm-hmm. Shoulder patch is nice. I hate everything else about it. It looks like a Neapolitan ice cream.
Oh, I'm not liking that at all. Shoulder patch, I am with you, Zach. The rest of it, and what do they call the collar?
Hanger effect.
Hanger effect, yeah.
Yeah, this is Sharks territory on the collar, inside the collar. This collar, too,
What's that? Sharks territory. Is that the golf course in late March? Is that what they call that, or mid-April?
Yes.
That's the Sharks territory. You have a picture of a golf course. That's what they should have done.
Now, the logo, if you'll notice, instead of being chrome, it is carbon fiber because Silicon Valley.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
And the other thing that bugs me, like in the initial mock-ups, we saw that those stripes that are on their chest, we thought that they were going to go all the way around. Not the case. So there's just the white stripe and black, apron on the front. The back is all teal.
That's going to look so bad.
The SJ logo is on the side of their pants, not like in the corner like normal. And the King's version is supposedly a version where it's silver on top, black stripe in the middle, and white everywhere else.
Now, here's my pressing question about these. This Sharks jersey with its black apron and white stripe, that looks like it's going to be awfully heavy for them.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be playing outside, too, so wind resistance. You think they would want to be as sleek as possible.
But hold on a second, though. But see, here's the thing. They made up the difference in the logo. Because you can see that's not like your basic tacked-on embroidered type logo. It's very light.
Right,
so
it's carbon fiber logo, and the stripes don't go all the way around; they're only on the front.
So I think that they certainly sat down and considered this, and they've compensated for the extra weight of the black and all the other and the stripes by making the logo lighter. So it all worked out.
This just means they're going to be front heavy, though. They're going to be leaning forward the whole game.
Well, that means they'll keep their head down.
If you're curious about Reebok trying to work their way into Nike speak,
and aren't we all?
Regarding the collar, the new collar that's there on the front, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
The collar construction was designed to be more streamlined and robust, integrating into the construction of the jersey more seamlessly. Now it now lays flatter and cleaner against the shoulders and neck area.
It's a flipping collar. It is a hole in the top of a shirt.
Exactly. Stuff drives me nuts. It's a fucking jersey. Give me a break. Oh. But I like the shoulder patch. That I like. The rest of it, surprisingly, I don't care for at all.
Speaking of John Beliveau, do you think he was skating around at his prime being like, I wish this collar was just more flat against my upper body. This is just like, I don't know, this is nonsense. Can't we do better?
And to take that a step further, Joe Montana won 4 Super Bowls with sleeves on his arms and with a regular old jersey. There was no like little sweat spot on it or anything like that.
The collar looks so bad.
The logo looks cheap to me.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It looks like an iron-on. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like an iron-on that didn't sit right.
Compare the patch. Okay, see, it's a sewn-on patch, basically, or tacked on, however they did it. And then you've got this. Looks like it's sublimated, like where they just put a patch and ironed it on.
I found out something else I don't like about this. If you look at this slideshow, the picture of the back shows that the back numbers are white outline and black. The sleeve numbers are just plain white. There's no outline.
Well, that's another page out of the Nike handbook.
Yeah,
That's something Nike does.
I understand why the numbers are bigger because it's like, oh, we're in a stadium, so we want to make the numbers. I understand that, but not putting an outline. I don't. Maybe that's how they made up for the extra stripes and like the black. They're like, no, we got to take an outline off one of the numbers, to keep the weight down.
They have like 5 guys in a little lab that sit down and weigh each jersey and go, wait a minute, okay, we're picking up weight here, so we got to drop weight here. Like I said, it's like the Apollo program at NASA. It's all about the weight. You can't get to the moon, and the weight is the biggest concern. These are not good. I don't like them at all.
It almost makes what we got last year seem tasteful and restrained.
I really liked the Rangers jerseys last year. That was last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked those a lot. I thought the Ducks jerseys were cool. I can't honestly say I remember the rest of them.
I didn't really like the chrome that the teams did that. The chrome really bugged me, but I take it over this.
Yeah, the Kings one is going to look exactly like this one though, except silver shoulders, black middle stripe, and then white bottom.
Okay,
which bugs me because I don't know. It just seems like so similar. Like it would be best. It would be better, I think, if each team designed their own. Oh,
and I forgot the most salient point of the rumored Kings jerseys. Supposedly white pants.
Oh boy!
Ask the Capitals how that worked out.
Straight up white, like normal white pants.
It's going to look like a diaper.
As far as I know, white.
Wow,
yeah,
that's not going to be good, is it?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. They're going to unveil them next week.
No.
Uniform talk.
Always. Lovencast 2.0, baby.
But
and look at that. We did it all in about 30 minutes.
Exactly.
The NHL had their Board of Governors meeting this last week in Boca Raton, Florida, because, of course.
Not like they're going to have it in Winnipeg. Come on.
Hey, Winnipeg's a lovely town. Have you seen the Riviera? There's no Riviera in Winnipeg.
So I gathered.
Anyway, we've long talked about the expansion of the league and things of that nature.
Oh, God.
The NHL has given the official go-ahead to a prospective Las Vegas owner to conduct a season ticket drive to gauge interest.
Well, that should settle that quickly.
Remember when Hamilton did this and then got blackballed?
Right, but that wasn't league sanctioned. This one is. So basically, what I'm saying, this is no longer rumor and conjecture. This is now concrete evidence of the league really wants to do this.
Well,
I mean, they're going to gauge it to see how it goes. But I guarantee you, I almost 100% guarantee you, it's going to come back as, oh no, this is great.
Oh, you know it's going to, but that's not going to be the case, and we all know it.
Yeah.
We've gone over it a million times. I don't even want to get into the whole thing again, just to say that we know this is a horrific idea. It's not going to work.
I hope it doesn't happen. I hope that the ticket sales come back and no one wants it. I hope it blows up in their face in such a spectacular way that they can't deny it.
Well, the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find people that actually live there to do the drive with, which isn't the easiest thing.
They could just go to the casinos, I guess, and say, like, hey, if we had a hockey team here, would you buy a bunch of our tickets?
And they'd say no because I got to work every night.
No, I'm saying if they go to the casinos
themselves, not the workers.
Like if they just went to, like, say, like the Bellagio.
Right.
and said like, "Hey, would you buy a bunch of tickets and give them out as freebies if we had a team?"
Well, and they're going to say yes.
And what you're going to have, they're going to buy 3,000 tickets, and what you're going to have is the Las Vegas rolling dice, whatever they're going to be called, will be playing
Las Vegas
games.
Pieces, of course.
They'll be playing games, and there'll be huge ticket sales and no one there to watch because that's what's going to happen.
And it's going to be one of those things where they're like, "Oh, all the tickets sold out," but it's going to be really bad for the league when you see the games on TVs and it's empty. Las Vegas is a tourist destination. It's all of those things. It's also a minor league town. It's not built for a major league franchise in any of the 4 big leagues. I mean,
Well, tell that to the Las Vegas Locomotives of the UFL, sir.
is that league even still around?
Or who is the Las Vegas Hitmen?
Oh, that was the
Of
XFL
the
team,
XFL.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was the Las Vegas Outlaws. It was the New York, New Jersey Hitmen.
That's right, yeah.
Right, because they couldn't decide whether they were going to play in New York or New Jersey.
Well, I just thought of that for a second. That New York, New Jersey Hitman, that's not cool.
That's kind of clunky.
Well, not only is it clunky, but it's kind of,
MLS tried that too with the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars.
I'm not even talking about that part. I'm talking about the Hitman. It kind of makes an assertion that I don't know that if I'm from New Jersey, I like all that well.
Well, what's to say that you end up sleeping with the fishes if you disagree?
But this is bad. Are there any other cities on the table besides Las Vegas? With this,
Not in an official capacity.
Oh,
no.
for Pete's sake!
Not officially. I've heard. I think it was from Bob McKenzie, who from TSN, who said that the preference for for potential expansion goes Vegas at top, then Seattle, then Quebec City, but that they said that surprisingly that apparently they look at Quebec City as a potential relocation option.
Right.
And that
which I thought was interesting because I thought they would be able to get the same amount of money or more money for an expansion team out of Quebec.
But
that's what
it sounds like is that either way, they're going to have to pay a relocation fee, and that relocation fee would be the same amount as a expansion fee.
Back up a second,
which is rumored to be $500 million or so.
Back up a second, though. Okay, real quick here.
Yeah.
If your league has markets where you have to think about relocation, is it really the smartest move to expand?
It's not, but this is a league that has always been. I think the last time it was competently run was sometime during the '60s, maybe.
Yeah, back in John Billavou's day. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing about it too is that we've had more issues with the Coyotes financially in recent weeks too.
Yeah.
So we know that it's all but a certainty that they're going to use that out clause when they can get to it.
The guy who was going to swoop in and be the financial savior of the Coyotes apparently got to look at the books and was like, no.
Right. So one way or the other, the Coyotes are going to be not in Glendale
and then there's Florida.
3 or 4 years. But see, Florida's different right now because they're trying to do this whole attendance experiment. And they're actually playing pretty well. They're only a few points out of a playoff spot. So if they can become a good team and maybe get some people in the building, maybe it changes. It doesn't seem that legitimate businessman Vinny Viola,
the wrench
Viola, he
doesn't seem as intent on maybe moving them. He doesn't. A guy like Vincent
truly
Viola doesn't seem like, let's take the Panthers and move into Quebec City. What do you think? I don't think he's that kind of guy.
I don't think Vinny Viola would fit in well in Quebec City.
Probably not.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was pointing at.
I'm just saying that if you've got to worry about teams that you've got to move, right there it tells you you don't have enough markets to support your league. So why it's not
a big part of the problem I see at the NHL isn't so much obviously I think in terms of quality the NHL could probably stand to lose 2 or 4 teams.
I agree. That was my next point. Go ahead.
But I still think that 30 is doable. I think the big problem is that they just don't have them in the right 30 places.
That could very well be, but look at the talent though. Look at you got your Buffaloes and your Edmontons out there. And that certainly could happen in a 20-team league. It's not to say that it wouldn't happen if there were less teams, but there's just not enough talent. There's not enough money. There's not enough markets, especially for hockey, that you just can't. It can't work. Can't be done.
Yeah, we've rehashed that before a couple times already, and it's just. But the NHL is dead set on it. They really want to be that first team in Vegas.
Then move a team there. Do the smart thing. You know?
No, what? In a perfect world, they would just move the Coyotes to Phoenix, or the Coyotes. They would move the Coyotes to Phoenix, and they probably work. Move the Coyotes to Vegas, and move the Panthers to Quebec.
Yeah,
but
that would help a lot.
Or move the Yotes to Seattle instead.
Yeah,
but,
it's just the expansion. I don't know that even the NFL could expand at this point. I mean, it probably could, but they're smart enough not to try it.
They won't do it because they like their divisions as they are. Everything's nice and perfect.
Right. Whereas the NHL could give a damn about organization.
Yeah, the NFL, you'd have to pretty much put 4 teams in to.
You'd have 8 teams.
You have to have 8 teams. Yeah, you have to really. Right? How would you? Yeah,
and I thought about.
Yeah.
I've actually thought about that for the NFL expansion. I'm like, are there 8 markets that could support the NFL that don't currently have the NFL? And I don't think there are.
We've got markets now that can't support it, like Jacksonville.
Yeah.
It's 8 more teams. Great. Here come the real life Toledo Ramblers. I love it. We got built-in rivalries with Detroit, Chicago, even Green Bay, Cleveland, if they still are in the NFL at that point.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the NFL, the Los Angeles story gets more interesting.
Oh, good.
Here come the Rams, baby.
Beautiful.
The Rams are, of course, always at the top of the list of teams, but apparently the Chargers are now making a play.
Really?
Yeah, somebody in San Diego wrote a story that this Sunday's Chargers game could be their last in San Diego.
Really?
And it's all speculative. There's no hard numbers to it.
Well, the most notable part is that one of the people on the committee that manages Qualcomm. I can never say that right.
Qualcomm. Right.
Qualcomm has said that he feels as if they're close to losing the team. So that's the big thing that's getting people to pay attention, is that one of the people in charge of actually running the stadium has said, I don't think that this team will be here much longer.
And there's no plans to build them a new stadium in the works or anything, is there?
In San Diego, no. This has been going on for over 5 years now, where they've been trying to get a new stadium, and proposals will pop up and they'll be in the news for a while, but then nothing ever comes of it. And so it's also been revealed that despite their objections, the Chargers can't stop anyone from moving to LA, because even though
it's a secondary market,
it's a secondary market, so they don't have veto power over it. Mm-hmm. And so the rumor is that if the Chargers really view LA as so vital to their survival that they would veto a team moving there if they could, then they could just move there themselves.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think the NFL wants the Chargers in Los Angeles. I think if in their dream scenario, they want the Rams and possibly the Raiders in LA. I don't think they want the Chargers to leave San Diego.
LA doesn't want the Raiders.
I don't think no one wants the Raiders, the poor bastards.
San Antonio does.
Oh, I forgot about our San Antonio Raiders, yes.
And I hope in my dream scenario is the Raiders go to San Antonio and then the Chargers and Rams go to LA.
Well, they would both be – the Chargers would actually be back where they started. The Rams are still one city off. They got to get back to Cleveland to really get it right, but I could live with that. It's just I don't know. I don't want the Chargers like it matters, but I don't want them to leave San Diego. And while I'm at it, listing my demands as an NFL owner, I might add, I want the Chargers to switch back to any one of their normal uniform sets prior to this one, and I'm happy.
Any one is better.
Any one of them. I don't even care which. Pick the one you like. Even the dark blue ones, the most previous or most I can't talk. Recent, that's the word, yeah, because previous and recent are so similar. The most recent set would be just fine with me. That's as an NFL owner talking there. So hopefully I can convince the other 31 guys and we can get this done.
I don't know. The Rams and Chargers they could play in the same stadium and no one would have to change the signage.
Yeah, as long as it's blue and yellow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, the Rams, I don't know if there's going to be an alternate or not, but the Rams are bringing back the blue and whites at some point. It's almost a definite deal.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Greg, you as an NFL owner do not have that power.
I do, in fact, have that power, but I don't like to brag about it.
Okay.
I wanted to get Mike's thoughts. I don't know. He probably doesn't pay that close of attention, but his thoughts on Ohio State leapfrogging 2 teams to get into the playoff.
I do listen.
Do you have any thoughts on the college football playoff?
I do listen to the Basically a Football show, so I do have thoughts.
Those 2 idiots don't know what they're talking about.
it's really along the lines of what you guys have been saying, in that Ohio State playing so well that they get bumped up makes sense, but that TCU really didn't do anything to deserve being knocked down. But in my opinion, I always thought that Baylor should have been ranked ahead of TCU anyway.
Yeah, we did too.
And so the way that it works out is, I admit that for TCU it sucks, but I can't say I'm broken up about it or anything.
Right.
And on top of that, I just wanted to say, I think Zach was right when he said that they maybe held the Big 12's little power play against them.
Yeah.
By trying to do like the 2 national championships. Maybe the committee just looked at that and said, okay, for that, now you don't get anything.
Yeah, I think if they hadn't hedged their bets like that, they probably would have gotten a team in, but that was just a dumb thing to do.
I think something I thought more and more about, I think if these rankings had just come out, like if there was no weekly rankings,
right,
we'd be perfectly okay with that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But it's the fact that they had the weekly rankings and that they did have TCU at 3. That's why this thing's a big controversy. Mm-hmm. If things were ranked as they currently stand for the last several weeks, and maybe Ohio State jumps Baylor or something, then yeah, okay, fine. I can see all that. But it's the fact that they had the rankings every week. You had Florida State keep dropping. You had TCU keep moving up. And then all of a sudden, the last week of the season, you decide to flip it.
Yep.
Bring back the supercomputer.
Right. And one of the other things that somebody else pointed out that I heard, and it actually made a lot of sense too, they kept saying that, we're looking at the entire body of work, right? But if they're looking at the entire body of work, well, Ohio State has the worst loss of those 3 teams. Well, Ohio State played really well at the end. They're playing their best football right now. Okay, but that's not their entire body of work then.
No, it's just
so you're taking
right now.
The criteria works for some teams, but then for other teams you're using different qualifications to move them in. So they just weren't very consistent because they had to do this every week, and you got a different look at college football every week.
Let's be honest about Ohio State for a second here. They weren't within sniffing distance of this thing until they blew out Michigan State on the road.
Yep.
That's when they got a little bit of momentum. And then who'd they beat after that? I think they beat Minnesota or somebody. Then they beat Michigan. And I said this on the show, I'll say it again. If JT Barrett as the quarterback, when they beat Wisconsin like that, I don't think they get as much consideration, because what they did is their expectations dropped so low after he got hurt. And for them to come out and do what they did with a third-string quarterback, I think maybe they are this good. And I think they probably are as good as, I think that they're not that much worse off without Barrett, is what I'm trying to say. But it made them look so much better because of what they did with their third-string quarterback, that all of a sudden you're going, wow, this is some sort of super team, when they're really not. Wisconsin was overrated to begin with, but yeah, if it's the whole body of work, then Ohio State should have been in the hunt all along, and they weren't. Not until they beat Michigan State, and then all of a sudden.
In my opinion, and another reason why maybe I'm not as upset about this miscarriage of justice as some people are, is because it doesn't matter. Okay, does it matter if Ohio State or TCU is number 4? Alabama's gonna just walk through them anyway.
I don't think so. I think if TCU's in there, I think they give them a better game. If Ohio State goes out and gets blown out against Alabama, I think it actually makes the committee look worse. Because then Baylor or TCU or Baylor, they can both sit there and say, we wouldn't have got blown out. And then they're still going to have that argument going against them, in a month.
I don't know. It's the Deep South. It's Alabama. I think they just absolutely monkey stomp whoever is put up there.
I don't think that Alabama would win. I just think a game against TCU might be closer.
That's assuming Ohio State's going to get blown out. I don't think they're going to win. I would not pick them to win. But like I said on the show, I think it's going to be a lot like when they played LSU in 2007. It's going to look like it was close when it really wasn't. I think that it was 38-24 was the final of that game, and it was never that close.
Well, if anything, the committee wants Ohio State to win.
Well, so do I.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is the committee would love Ohio State to win because they would validate their entire process.
That's what I was going to say, too. The only way for this thing to be completely validated is for Ohio State to run the table and win the whole thing. Then they look like geniuses, and that's probably not going to happen. Although I will say this, if the team that played Wisconsin last Saturday night shows up, they'll be able to beat anybody.
Well, the thing, too, they put it – one of the reasons they picked Ohio State is because they're playing their best football right now and they're hot. What happens when you give that hot team a full month off?
They are not hot anymore.
What happens to the momentum?
And another thing, too, they can't play the nobody believes in us card now like they could against Wisconsin. And don't tell me for a second Urban Meyer didn't sit there that whole week going, nobody thinks you can do this. No one thinks you can do this. I mean, he can kind of do that because it's Alabama, but it's just a different animal now. They're in the playoff, and there are expectations now, and it's not a matter of nobody believes in you. It's a matter of, hey, you're here, now prove why you need to be here. Completely different thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
it'll be interesting, and there's a whole month to think about it.
Yeah,
that's the one thing that I love college football until this part.
Yeah,
where it's like, oh yeah, we just got this playoff, we're all amped for it. Oh, what's that? It's not until 35 days from now. Okay,
well, couldn't you conceivably take this week off? Okay, and then do, let's see, how would it work out? Yeah, and do the first 2 games. What would it be? The week of Christmas. Okay, there's a way to do it where we wouldn't have to have these 35 days off in between.
Yeah, there's a week to do it, but they don't. The other thing the NCAA doesn't want is for these to infringe on the rest of the bowl games.
Yeah,
and
that's
make
true.
them even less relevant than they actually are.
Yeah,
because you could imagine, it's fun. It's fun to have all those tiny bowls because there's no other football and let's watch it. But if you know that Saturday we're gonna have the semifinal games, I'm not gonna watch the Belk Bowl.
Well, not to mention, too, there's that joke of we don't want to mess with their final exams and all that. There's another reason why they do this.
If you don't want to mess with the new Ohio State quarterback, he's not there to play school.
No, he doesn't. Like I said, he's not even worried about it. So we just need more guys like him. Everything will be fine.
I mean, it's obvious that he's not there to play school. He spent so much time thinking about football that he was ready for that Wisconsin game.
Yeah, it worked out great for him.
If he had been there to play school, Ohio State might have lost.
That's the thing, though. He looks like a genius now, strange as that sounds. When his name first popped up, I'm like, God, I hope he's not the guy that said that. Then it turns out, yep, he was the guy that said that.
We're not here to play school. God damn it.
Yeah.
That's your Ohio State Buckeye education.
That's right.
Represent Greg.
I mean, even more than that, that's your Ohio, because Ohio State's a state school, so that's your tax dollars, Greg.
Well, I swear it really is a good educational institution, but we can't use the football team to judge the rest of the students.
Well, just remember that you also got your degree from Toledo. So
yeah. That's like the Harvard of the Midwest or something too.
It's a Rust Belt Ivy League.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zach's Tabs.
Zach's Tabs!
Very nice. Take it away, Zach.
Where to begin? Well,
you should probably do the thing you tease, don't you think?
Oh, the tease, yes.
Or should we hang on till the very end and make people drag it all the way through?
No. Well, I'll bring up the tease.
All right.
Someone on the Reddit hockey sub forum put together a chart with the relative beer cost per ounce at all 30 NHL arenas. Number 1 at 76 cents per ounce of beer is the Montreal Canadien, far and away above second place, who is the Winnipeg Jets at .67.
See, that doesn't make
Hold
sense
on a minute. That's $15.20 for a 20-ounce beer.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
See, that doesn't make sense because the Canadians are owned by Molson.
Right.
So they should
get a discount.
You'd think they could get the beer for cheap.
By the way, actually,
they probably do get it for cheap.
The reason that it might be a little bit higher at some of these Canadian ones, they're doing it per ounce of Bud Light. I know Bud Light is technically an import in Canada, so I don't know if that skews
Imported
it.
quality import.
Yeah, quality import, Bud Light. So Montreal's 1, Winnipeg's 2. Number 3 is your Toronto Maple Leafs.
I'm surprised they're not higher. The Maple Leafs are not afraid to just bleed the fan base dry at every opportunity.
The top 2 American teams are the New York hockey franchises, the Icelanders and the Rangers, at 59 cents an ounce.
I know when I went to Madison Square Garden in 1996, a 12-ounce can of Budweiser cost me $4.75. Not cheap.
My Anaheim Ducks they're pretty much middle of the pack, 53 cents per ounce.
53. What's the average beer size? I don't drink anymore, so I don't know.
It's like a 20.
Okay.
20 ounce.
So that means you're paying $10.60 a beer at Ducks games? Is that right?
Yeah, that's for a large. A regular beer is like $9.50.
God.
Yeah. And that's if you're just getting Bud Light or Coors Light. If you get a higher end premium beer, then
Like, say, Pabst Blue Ribbon.
sure. Then it's like $12.
The Islanders are going to get plenty of Pabst once they move to Brooklyn.
But
I got it.
this is where the tease comes in. The cheapest beer in the NHL, Greg.
Columbus, Ohio.
Your Columbus Blue Jackets.
Nice.
38 cents an ounce.
Well, hold on. Let me do the math real quick here. Let me see if this is right. 38 times 20 would be 760. That's right on the money, actually. I think they're 750, so it's that's right.
Yeah, so that's a bargain. And surprisingly, the other 5 or 7 Canadian teams, all there in the top parts of the league, the Ottawa Senators only 39 cents an ounce.
Well, that's
they're
because
right behind them.
I mean, I can explain this. If when you're going to watch a bad team, you want them to drink, so they'll keep coming back. So you make the beer cheaper, and it keeps you from remembering.
Then why are the Oilers 6th?
I can't explain that. I don't know. I didn't take a lot of time to think out my theory there. I just
Buffalo, for comparison, is 49 cents, and Carolina is 50 cents.
So what did we figure it was for Montreal? $15?
Yeah, 76 cents an ounce.
$15 for high quality imported Bud Light.
You can buy. My God, I got to think you could buy like a keg of Bud Light for $18 or $15 here.
You can buy a 30 for that much.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, interesting little note. The NHL All-Star voting is going on. As you know, Greg, the All-Star game will be in Columbus, Ohio in January. Mm-hmm. We already went over this, but still running away with the lead, Zemgus Girgensons of the Buffalo Sabres. He has 803,805 votes, more than double the next forward, Patrick Kane, with 375,000.
He's got the whole country of Latvia putting their weight behind him.
And this is the NHL actually released the statistics of his 800,000 votes. 82% of those votes are from Latvia.
Do 800,000 people live in Latvia? I mean, I don't know how big it is.
You can vote 10 times a day.
I'm going to find out how many people live in Latvia.
9% of his votes are from the States, I assume from Buffalo. 3% are from the United Kingdom. And 2% from Canada.
How much of that do you think there was just people getting on the bandwagon?
80% of his votes come from people that have registered their favorite team as the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
right, Mike, what's the population here? Let's find out.
Population, 1,990,300.
So basically, about half of the country has voted for him.
Yeah.
Yes, half of Latvia.
Every hockey fan in Latvia has voted for Zemgus.
The president of Latvia is on TV each night urging the country to vote.
That was my next question.
Fellow Latvian, we must raise Zemgus to prominence.
For glory of Latvian nation.
Get the Latvian locomotive in there.
All right.
So the other thing that comes out of the All-Star game, though, just for a quick aside, because they're still going to do the fantasy draft thing.
Yeah.
And they have to pick 2 captains. And one is usually the hometown guy, and the other one they try to have some connection. Mm-hmm. So the hometown guy is either probably going to be Johansson or Bobrovsky, maybe.
Right.
So I'd have to assume it would be Team Johansson. But somebody else floated this idea, and Greg, you as a Columbus Blue Jacket fan, I want to get your take.
Okay.
What do you think if they named one of the other captain Rick Nash? What kind of reception do you think he'd get?
Ooh, that's interesting. He got traded, right? He didn't.
Yeah. He got traded.
He got traded, but he asked out because he said he was going to try and help the organization.
And really, the team needed to get rid of him. He was like.
I don't think it would be that bad. I don't know that everybody would be on board with it, though. That's my best guess. Be interesting, though.
Another one with a connection to you, Greg. Your old New York Hockey Rangers.
I'm kind of back in the Rangers camp now. I needed somewhere to go when the things fell apart. Go ahead.
Well, if you watched their 4-3 victory over Pittsburgh on Monday night.
I did not.
Well, they had a game-winning goal from Kevin Klein, which is remarkable because during the first period, he lost part of his ear.
He's a hockey player. I'm not even surprised.
He lost a part of his ear sometime during the first period, got it reattached, and then resumed his role on ice and scored the overtime game winner.
That's a hockey player. Is anybody surprised? I'm not. Not a
No,
bit.
but I just wanted to put this out there to remind people, hockey players are awesome.
That's right.
Could you imagine if a basketball player lost part of his ear? He'd be out for months.
Absolutely.
LeBron got cramps because it was too hot.
Look at Derrick Rose, for God's sakes.
Well, let's go to Cleveland and talk about LeBron. He made international headlines this week, guys. The Cavaliers were playing a game in Brooklyn against the Nets, and in attendance in the first row were the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge,
Hey.
Prince William, and his wife Kate.
Mm-hmm.
He made a faux pas, a break in royal conduct.
Protocol. I heard about this, yeah.
Royal protocol.
I don't know what he did, though. I just heard that he did it.
He was taking pictures with William and Kate because he presented them with a very tiny jersey that says George on the back and another one that says Cambridge on the back, a bigger one for them to wear. But he broached royal etiquette by putting his arm around Kate's shoulder.
Oh, my goodness.
And this was post-game, so he was quite sweaty as well.
Oh, no. He is a commoner. He is not allowed to do that.
To the Tower of London. Off with his head.
How did the Royals react to it pretty well, or were they right upset about the whole matter?
They were fine, but Britain, oh man. Royal etiquette expert William Hansen told the Daily Mail, although I'm sure the Duchess of Cambridge wouldn't have worried about it, Mr. James should not have put his arm around her. Americans are much more tactile than we Brits, and this is another example of an American being too touchy-feely with British royalty. You'd think they'd have learned by now. A shower would have been preferable, but he had just finished a game, so even more reason for him not to have opened his pits by lifting his arm and placing it around Royal Highness. So, Mike, as our representative to a country that has a representative to the Queen,
yes.
What are your thoughts?
Send him to the Tower of London, off with his head, deaf to LeBron, and it's time that we taught those filthy commoners what's what and such.
There you have it. Sorry, LeBron. You should have known better.
I love that part. They should know better by now.
Right, because I'm sure LeBron James spent a lot of time in his life figuring out royal protocol.
Well, he is King James.
This is true. Wait a minute. Now, hold on. Yeah, we've got a situation here.
Exactly.
Okay, since he's also royalty, Mike, help us out here. You're the historian. You know about these things. Is it actually a faux pas or not?
He still should have showered before doing it.
But he's a king, and she's a princess, so come on. What's the story here?
Well, she's a duchess.
She's a duchess, not a princess.
He's a king. That's like 5 face cards ahead of her, so it's fine. She's like the 10 of diamonds. Come on.
5 face cards ahead of her. No, it's probably acceptable since he is King James, but
Yeah.
I still think, it's just common courtesy to shower before wrapping your sweaty body around someone.
Probably.
Speaking of Cleveland, we of course know that Jonathan Football will be making his first start on Sunday.
Jonathan Football.
I like John Football, but yeah, Jonathan's good too.
You know the infamous Cleveland Browns jersey that lists every single quarterback.
Right.
Well, it has been updated, friends. 21 starting quarterbacks since Art Modell first took his team to Baltimore, and we got the new Browns.
It's kind of like the Stanley Cup. They need to add another level to it here, another ring. I want to see if I know all these names. Okay, it started out. It was actually Ty Detmer was the first quarterback that started.
I thought it was Tim Couch.
No, Detmer started.
Tim Couch.
No, Detmer.
That's who's on the jersey.
I thought Detmer started, and then they brought Couch in. I think I don't remember anyway. Then you got Spurgeon Wynn. Okay, I think his name was Stu Peterson. Kelly Holcomb. I know it was one of the McCowns. Zeppo, I think.
Zeppo.
Jeff Garcia, Trent Dilfer, Charlie Fry, who was from where I live, Ken Dorsey, famous Miami Hurricane, Gradkowski, what was his first name? Rob? No, I'm thinking of the guy from the Patriots.
Bruce,
Derek Anderson, the immortal Brady Quinn, Jake Delhomme, Seneca Wallace, remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Colt McCoy. Oh, what was the Lewis guy's name?
Thad Lewis.
Thad Lewis, right. Brandon Whedon, Jason Campbell, Brian Hoyer, and now John Football. That's in, 15 years?
Yeah.
Holy hell.
This is the 13th consecutive season the Browns will use at least 2 different starting quarterbacks in one season.
Well, you got to set some sort of tradition at some point, and I guess that's going to be theirs. I tell you, honest to God, guys, between this and the new uniforms, I'm really about at my wit's end with this team.
Well, just wait until the Manziel era uniforms are released, and it's like gray with bright orange numbers. And
I held out that it might be kind of a cool Viking-style update. No. When they said we're not going to mess with the helmet, except that they are going to mess with the helmet. And right then I thought, here come the Cleveland Bay Buccaneers. It's all over. I'm really this close. If the uniforms are awful, and we'll find out in April.
They're going to put spiked dog collars around all the numbers. It's going to be like disaster.
You know it's going to be bad. Because didn't they say they were going to try to mix tradition with the future?
They did say that, and then they went. And then when the Buccaneers uniforms came out and people were criticizing them, some Browns executive said something along the lines of, I want to withhold saying anything because we're going to be in the same boat in a few years.
When you say you're going to mix tradition with the future, what you get are the Buccaneers uniforms. Yeah! Go ahead, Zach.
Let's see. Let's do some college basketball real quick.
Before we start, can any of the three of us name the number 1 ranked team in college basketball right now?
Duke. I don't know.
Zach?
Kentucky.
That sounds good to me. One of those two.
No, it's Kentucky.
Oh, is it?
It is Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
They're actually very interesting this year because they have so many good players that they're not actually just subbing guys in and out. They're using platoons. Full 5-man units get subbed in and out for each other at any given time.
That's John Calipari's approach now with the new one and done thing. How else can you go about it? You can't really build a team, so what he's doing is just bringing in all the talent he can find and doing this, and it's working out great for him.
It's working out great, yeah. Anyway, UConn and Yale played the other day, and Yale defeated UConn. Only the second time UConn has lost to an Ivy League team, the first time also being to Yale. A math professor at UConn, on the final exam for this class, he made a question, and this is the question. Problem number 6. UConn's men's basketball versus Ivy League opponents. Since the 1980-81 season, UConn's men's basketball team has played 31 games against Ivy League opponents, and it has lost only twice, on December 2nd, 1986, and on December 5th, 2014, both to Yale. For some perspective, here's our relevant stats in this matchup. Random variable X stands for points scored by UConn per game. The mean is 75, the standard deviation is 15. Random variable Y is the points by Ivy League opponents per game, which is 57, standard deviation of 12. X and Y are not independent. The correlation between X and Y is 5/8. Based on this information, show via an explicit computation the standard deviation of X minus Y is 12.
What?
No, math is not my...
I was just going to say, you're talking to 2 liberal arts majors here. We were lost when you said math equation. We checked out at that point. Yeah.
I'm tapping out with
That's
math.
it. Yeah.
So basically, the professor worked in a little jab at all of his students and the school he works for in their final.
If you say so, I'll take your word for it because I had no idea what any of that meant. I bet you there's not even really an answer to that. He just made all that shit up.
I'm sure there's an actual answer. I just, math.
It's 42.
I don't know what the answer is.
God, see, that's the second time that I had something I was going to say and I completely forgot.
Damn it, Greg.
I know. I'm sure it wasn't anything important. Although, you know what? I'm pretty proud of myself. I got quoted twice last week from last week's show. Once on Twitter and once on the boards.
How about that?
Yeah. Me, of all people. The person that can't get a sentence can't get a sentence out of his mouth, and I got quoted twice. Not bad. All right, are we done?
I've got nothing.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
We're going to wrap it up. We will see you all again on Tuesday with Basically a Football Show. New episodes of Basically a Geek Show are on the way, so keep up with all that on our website, basicallyasportshow.com. Follow us on Twitter, where I am quoted regularly at Basically Sports, and all the other good stuff. We will see you next time right here on Basically a Sports Show.
Later.
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.